am Rondi Lambeth, and this is the School of Wealth.
I got you again. I put it 2 times. I accidentally pressed the button. But welcome to the Push Power to Power show. Brought to you by your boy, your host, Jesus Ortiz, by Yeraldy Media, your concept media group, and the Jesus Ortiz Black. And man, today we're going to have an amazing show. I'm going to be bringing in a credit expert, pro, whatever you want to call it. You're going to have a lot of questions. I do. Telling you, there's a lot of stuff about credit that we think we know, but we don't know. And he's an expert about it. So any questions that you got, guys, we hear in the comments, just throw them out there. But before, we're going to hear a little bit about his story. I know he's already here waiting. I'm about to bring him in. So any questions after he tells a little bit about himself, about Mr. Rondi Lambeth. Let me see. We already have some comments already in here, man. Rachel, what's up, Rachel? So we're gonna get him in here in a little bit. So, like I said, we're interviewing Mr. Rondi Lambeth. I'm so excited to having him. I've been following him since a while, a couple of years back when I started following Grant Cardone, and I started seeing him. And I'm always looking at everybody that is out there on top, on the levels, making something, different of themselves. And I said, man, I gotta have him in my show because he has a lot of great information. Like I said, sometimes you give a lot of free information, but sometimes you gotta pay something, man, if it's monthly or if it's just one time, but it's something that is gonna help you. It's gonna help us get that credit, because like I said, credit, it's power, man. Credit is power. Let's see, what's up, Rachel? Let's see, go banners again. The Push Power to Power show. I'm ready to bring him in. So let's get Mr. Rondi Lambeth. And any questions, hold on the questions. Let's hear him about his story and tell him a little bit about himself, and then we're ready for the questions. Let me get him. First time to doing this, so let's see. Bam. Bam. There it is. Hey.
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's awesome to be alive.
All right, man. We're live, man. We're multicasting. We're live everywhere. So we're good.
Very good.
All right. Yeah, man. I'm using StreamYard, and it's like I'm still learning it. I'm here in the process of it's a lot of new stuff, but it's an amazing software that you can multicast at one time everywhere. And I'm like,
that's pretty cool. Where's it broadcasting at?
I'm broadcasting on my Facebook page, my business pages, my blog page, YouTube, and Periscope.
Sweet.
Yep.
Very cool. Very cool.
Let's get
this show on the road, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right.
So we're gonna get this show on the road, guys, and I'm gonna let Mr. Rondi Lambeth. We want to know a little bit about himself, a little bit of a story about him, because I've been following him for a while, and I'm like, man, I need to have him in the show. I mean, it's been, man, I don't know, since you still got the School of Wealth, right? Your podcast?
I do.
Oh,
I've only done a few episodes over the last 6 months. I kind of took a little sabbatical. I did 2,200 episodes total with Your Credit Matters and School of Wealth. So I didn't get burnt out. That's not the right word. I just needed a break. I did a show every single day for 7 years in a row, and I needed a break. So I took a little break. But I am going to Vegas this afternoon to my studio. I'll be there for 2 weeks, which I plan on doing multiple segments. I have lots of guests coming in, and I'm going to Costa Rica to interview some people down there and do a bunch of content down there, primarily about my business credit course and how to travel the world for free. And Costa Rica is one of those examples. And just enjoy life and use your credit wisely to help you experience more of life.
That's very true. That's good. That I always tell everybody that I meet. Sometimes, we hustle and grind and we do so many things, but you gotta stop. Sometimes they tell us don't hit the brake, but sometimes you do. You gotta, think about yourself. Think about your health. We just focus on, making money or helping others, but you gotta think about yourself too.
Yeah. That's when you have near-death situations. Like I have over the last 5 years, you look at things a lot differently than that you're never going to die. And I know that kind of sounds cheesy and people say that, but it's true. And the first time that happened to me, I just kind of ignored it. The second time is like, yeah, I'm still bulletproof. And then the third time is like, okay, maybe there is something to this slowing down thing.
I saw that you were doing the 75 hard too, right? Did you?
Yeah, I did 75 hard twice, and I'm starting phase 1 for the third time on Monday. So I'm going to finish it this time. The last 2 times I did it, I wasn't mentally ready, and I just kind of was over it.
I got
it's
you.
hard, man. It's really hard. You just got to be in the right mindset. And
that's true.
I just didn't want it.
I seen a lot of people doing it, and I was like, man. And that Andy Frisella brought that up, and I was like, that's great.
Yeah, it's a life-changing experience if you actually commit to it and do it. So.
Yeah, and it's for your health. So I mean, it's nothing for you showing up. So it's all great.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's hear a little bit about yourself so everybody can know who is Mr. Rondi Lambeth, and then we get into the red.
All right. Typical American, born into mom and dad got pregnant when they were in high school. My dad got drafted by the Green Bay Packers to play football. Screwed that up, went into the Marine Corps instead, and then developed an alcohol problem in the Marine Corps, and decided he was going to become this abusive man. He used to beat my mom up, so she started moving around. I grew up in welfare. And then around 5th grade, she met a guy named Paul, which we moved in with him. And Paul was my stepdad. That a lot of people, if you follow me, when I talk about my dad, stepdad, it's really Paul. Ron, my biological father, really had no place in my life at all. But, we lived in a shack outside of Boise, Idaho. It had no running water, no electricity. We got our food out of a dumpster every Wednesday, and that was our life. I mean, I grew up extremely poor. And what's crazy about it was it's in Idaho, it's in America, and I'm eating out of a dumpster. And we lived that way because Paul and my mom wanted to live that way, not because we had to live that way. The bedroom that I shared with my 5 siblings, so there's 6 of us total, was smaller than my master bedroom closet. I remember we had like these bunk bed stacks. They were 2x4s, and they would stack us up, and I could literally see out the wall because it wasn't a house. It was like a shed, no insulation. In the time, we burnt tires, not wood. We burnt tires for fuel. So we were covered in black soot. We were known in school as the dirty kids. So around 15 years old, my brother and I, my younger brother, Jeremy's 10 months younger than me. So I think we're called Irish twins or something. But we decided we were done being beaten up and tortured and just done with the abuse. And so we started walking around with these walking sticks. That's what we called them. They were our walking sticks. They looked more like baseball bats. And the whole plan was the next time Paul started beating up on one of us, the other one would come up behind him and start hitting him until we were done hitting him. And then we were going to dig a hole and get rid of him. And somehow he figured that out. And we were dead serious. I mean, we were done. We were tortured. I remember my 18-month-old little brother, Daniel, and he might have been a little bit younger than that, maybe 14 months old, but he was still in diapers. And the way Paul was potty training him was if he pooped in his diaper, he would go outside, break the ice on the pond, and hold him underwater until he was unconscious to train him not to poop his pants as a toddler. So that was kind of my daily life. I never had any dreams. I never had any goals. I never thought about the future, like what I was going to be when I grew up. All I focused on was how am I not going to get killed today or beaten unconscious today. So that was kind of my life until about 15 years old. And at 15, Paul started hitting one of us, and I don't remember which one it was, but ultimately we left. And My brother and I hitchhiked from Wenatchee, Washington down to Idaho. We lived in foster care for a little bit. And then I ended up in John Day, Oregon, where I was born, moved in with my father's parents, lived there for a little while, got hired as a funeral director, and at 16 years old became a licensed funeral director and embalmer apprentice. So I got into that world of consoling people and helping people through the hardest times of their life, you know, when they lose loved ones. And I started learning about entrepreneurship, and I started learning got electricity for the first time in my life, got more than one set of clothes, had warm food that we didn't get out of the dumpster. So life started changing for me in around 16 years old, 15, 16. And I really, because I was the oldest of 11 kids, I always had this burning passion, desire. I have this huge hole in my heart that I want to help people. And so I really enjoyed being a funeral director and an embalmer. But I felt like there was something more to that I could maybe do it different. So maybe I could do something more. And I remember going on a call, fire department, pick up a body where a guy had fell asleep or had a heart attack or something, killed him and his wife. And I remember the firefighters cutting him out. And again, as a kid, I never wanted to be anything. I just wanted to live. And at that moment, I was like, I'm going to be a fireman. That's what I'm going to do. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know how hard it was. It was, I'm going to be a firefighter. So I went back, told Wally, like, I gave him my notice, and I moved. I moved to Denver, Colorado, put myself into the fire academy, went to work as a garbage man because I didn't realize how hard it was to become a firefighter back in the 90s. For every one job that they offered up as a firefighter, 5,000 people applied for that job. So 5,001 odds of getting in. And so I was a garbage man for 5 years, but I put myself through the fire academy. I got hired with Sheridan Fire as a volunteer. So I was garbage man by day, firefighter by night. And that was my life until I got hired with Littleton, Colorado, where I went on the busiest rescue in Denver metro area. So I did that, and it filled my need to help people because I was on the busiest rescue. We were saving 12, 15 lives every single day. And when you're doing it, it really becomes part of your job. You don't see it as saving people's lives. You don't like high five each other. It's nothing like that. When you're in that grind, it's not a grind. When you're in that, that's what you're doing. Instead, what you do is you keep track of all the people that you lost, or you think about what you could have done better, not what you did right. So it's kind of like being an entrepreneur. You focus on what you screwed up and how you can get better, not, how awesome you are at running your company or whatever. So that was it. I became a firefighter, and I loved it. It's I think it's one of the greatest jobs on the planet. And I really enjoyed that. And fast forward a decade or so, my little brother, who I had left when I was 15 years old, and I think he was probably 3 or 4 years old, also was a fireman. And I wasn't really close with any of my siblings except for Jeremy. And I always had this tremendous guilt because I left him, and I knew the world that they lived in. And, but I got out. And so there's this huge amount of guilt, and I still have it today, that I left and I should have stayed there for them. And one of my brothers actually has said that to me, that, he resents me for leaving him. And, I was a kid. I had to do what I had to do to survive. And so anyway, Zeke was also a firefighter. And one day I got back from working a firefighter shift, got a phone call from my mom that my little brother had killed himself. And Zeke killed himself over less money that's in my pocket right now, over some credit card debt, some collections, some personal problems. And I had tremendous amount of guilt over that, because here I was thinking I was Superman, saving all these strangers' lives. and wasn't doing anything for my little brother. And it really hurt. And so it was kind of that moment, like, what can I do to keep this from happening to other families? And as I dug into the whole suicide thing, I found out that 5,000 Americans every single year commit suicide due to financial and credit problems. Financial problems are the number one cause of divorce. Financial problems are the number one cause of stress. Stress is the number one cause of disease and the number one cause of death in America. You can all trace it back to financial and credit problems. And so I went on a mission to help people with their finances. I didn't know anything about finances. Yeah, I ran at the time. I was a fireman. I was running a multi-million-dollar construction company, but I didn't know much about it. So I really started digging into financial stuff. And I created a company called Fortress Credit Pro in 2007. And that was an attempt to help people with credit problems, to get their credit right, to save families, save marriages, save lives, and allow them to live the life that they want versus the life that they have to. And then around 2010, I started making money at it. In 2012, I started making a lot of money at it. And it just blew up into the company it is today, which is the most successful paid on results credit repair company in America. And what makes us different than all the other credit repair companies in the United States is we bill you after we fix your credit. You don't pay us a setup fee. You don't pay us a retainer fee. There's no monthly fees. There's no management fees. There's no bullshit fees that all these other companies charge. You simply pay for your audit. 30 days later, we check your credit. Based on what we got deleted, we bill you $100 an item. If you can't afford to pay the $100, then you pay $25 a week until it's paid off. If we deleted 20 collections, well, your bill's going to be a little over $2,000. You're going to pay $25 a week until it's paid off. In the meantime, you have great credit versus paying $100 a month for the next 3 years, hoping that the company that you hired is going to fix it, even though you continue to pay them. There's no incentive for them to ever fix your credit, because the moment they fix your credit, you stop paying them. So we flipped it. We fix it up front, we bill you later. So that is our motto with Fortress Credit Pro. Lots of people have tried to copy me over the last 8 years, and they find out real quick that 100% of the people that hire us to fix their credit don't pay their bills on time, and they don't pay you either. And so it's pretty difficult to be successful with a credit repair company if your clients don't pay you. And the other thing is, most of them can't get enough deletion to stay in business because they're just not that good. When you get paid based on performance, changes the whole game. So that's a little bit about me. We do have something I'll share for a little bit later, that for people who listen to the whole podcast, for folks that can't afford to pay for credit repair, because the only thing worse than having bad credit is having bad credit and no money to fix it. So that's a little bit about me. I appreciate that. Hopefully that wasn't too boring, but
No.
That's what I got.
No, because I really wanted to, hear your story. I never knew, I follow you and read everything about you. And I was like, but I don't really know, his story, because everybody, always tells you, oh man, this and that, this is what I do. I make a lot of money, but they don't really know the true you, the struggles and everything you went through. And that's how, when I started the show, it used to be another name. And my audience would tell me, hey, we just hearing about these people that they're making money and stuff, but we don't know, their story. We want to know their story, what their struggle, did they lose their house? And I was like, you know what? This is way better than just people telling me, oh man, they got, they got the money from their dad and mom because they're rich. No, man, people these days, they don't believe, or they're not awake to know that people have stories. People made it. It took them not only 5 but years to make it where you at. And that's what I wanted to, show the audience, that it's not an easy thing, man. Like when they see me, I'm like, I started, and then I fell down so many times, but I still didn't give up because I didn't know my direction. I didn't know my path. I'm like, I don't really know what I want to do. Like there's so many things that you want to do, and then you just fell in this, and people laugh at you, family, friends, and tell you, see, I told you you were not gonna make it 6 months, or I told you were not gonna, you should not have done that, you should have been working 3 jobs and this and that. And I was like, but that's not me. I'm like, the black sheep out of the family, that's not me. I don't want to be on that situation. I want something better for to impact the family, to impact others, to help and make better lives out there, because that's my big vision, is to create a school and for kidspreneur, to start teaching the kids at this age right now how to earn money, how to start a business as a young kid, how to do all these different things now that they can do it, because education doesn't change. Education is still the same. Like phone, computer changes, but look at education, still the same. When we went through school, I went to college, I dropped out, but I tell my friends, is it any change? The ones that are in there, like, no, it's still the same books, the same thing. So I'm like, how are we gonna actually change these kids that they're growing up and losing all this time? Because you see it now, man. I work at a daycare right now, at a private daycare, and I see it. They're like in school all day, and then they put them in the daycare all day. Like all their time is like out there, and they tell me the stories. The little kids tell me the stories, and it makes me sad to know that as a parent, being me a parent, I'm like, man, you got to put time on your kids. You got to somehow, you and your husband, find a schedule and be like, this is what we're gonna do with them, because the thing that we lost here in America and everywhere, not only here, that yes, I'm gonna buy you an iPad, I'm gonna buy you a phone, because they get mad at you, the kids get angry or something, and you're like, that's it, you just give them things. And usually when I talk to the kids, they tell me the only thing they want is love, man. That's it. They want love from us, but we don't see that. And that makes me like so sad. Sometimes, last time I cried with one of the kids, because said, man, my mom, I have everything. He's like, Xbox, PlayStation, but I don't want none of that. Yes, it's fun to play with, but I want the love from my parents. I want the time. I don't care if we go to McDonald's or outside, or we play Monopoly at home, but that's the precious time. And I said, man, that when I started seeing all that, and I started seeing myself, I said, man, you know what? This is my vision. I want to create this. I want to help, because of my story of what happened to me with my daughter. I didn't get to see her for 2 years and a half. I broke down. I lost myself. I didn't believe in God. I lost faith. I was just a walking zombie. I didn't know what to do when that happened to me through those 2 years and a half. Into I realized that I had to come back to life. I have to know what is here. Life is always gonna happen, no matter what. Someone's gonna die, you're gonna get sick, but you still gotta have that mentality that we gotta keep on moving. Even if somebody dies in our family, they're already with God. They're looking at you and like, hey, you gotta keep on going. I'm gone, but you have your vision. You gotta keep on making whatever happen. Yes, it's gonna hurt you, but you still gotta make it happen no matter what. So I learned all this, everything, from myself, and the free information and pain events that I go now, that my mentality is different. Like everything in life, man, it's just, you have to experience. Everything we do is experience. Everything right now we're doing this, it's an experience. This is an amazing experience having you here. So it makes me happy. Everything I tell everybody, even when I go to a Subway and I'm eating and I'm looking at a movie or a video, that's an experience, and it's a beautiful experience, because we're here now. We're never gonna know if we're gonna be here later on today or tomorrow. So every day, just enjoy it. Even if you don't, if you're not rich, or you're living, paycheck to paycheck, but you're trying to change yourself. Try to change yourself. Try to progress yourself. Don't just say it and don't take action and make a decision and then never take action on making that decision. You have to, somewhere in yourself, in your spirit, you have to push yourself. No matter who's telling you not to do it, who's making fun of you, who's telling you that you're never gonna make it because nobody in your family made it. No, man, you could be the first one to graduate college, the first one to have your business, the first one to be a millionaire, and all that. All that changed into just now on 2020. I said, man, I found out what was my path. I found out what I really wanted, and there's no challenge. I said, there's no challenge for me. I ain't looking back. I'm going forward, and no matter what those obstacles, no matter what those walls are in front of me, I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna make myself my goals. I'm gonna make them until I get to those big dreams, into my big visions, and make it happen. It don't matter how much it takes, but I'm gonna make it happen. and I want to impact us and I want to help us. That's why I said I want to bring other people here in the show that they're experts, man, so we can help others. Like, you just told your story, and somebody out there, it might help them. Somebody out there might say, hey, you know what, I went through the same thing you went, so they can ask you a question, and then we can help them to the credits through the credit expert as yourself. Because as myself, I'm like, man, I have a lot of questions about the credit. I don't really know. Like, I'm trying to fix my credit right now. It's on 571, and I'm like, what do I do? I mean, I have this collections and stuff. I'm like, do I get this credit card? Do I get so many credit cards? I'm like, what's up with that? So we're gonna go through the question. So what is like the best credit card that you need to start to, like, not only for myself, but for somebody that has the same credit or maybe lower, to start building up back that credit to, even if it takes time,
Yeah. So the number one thing on a credit report that you can have on a credit report would be credit cards. The problem is, if you have bad credit, nobody wants to give you a credit card because you've already proven to the banks that you're not responsible with your money. Now, when I say this, when I say 100% of my clients don't pay their bills on time, I'm not saying that in a judgmental way, because I've had issues. There's the only thing that has never been on my credit report that I've seen on other people's credit reports is child support issues. I had full custody of my kids. Once I got divorced, I had full custody of all three of my kids. So I've never had child support issues on my credit. But I've had bankruptcies, I've had foreclosures, I've had short sales, collections, late payments, charge-offs, repossessions, everything else I've had on my own personal credit. And so I don't judge anybody. So when I say 100% don't pay their bills on time, it's kind of a joke, because that's why they're hiring me, right? But if you have bad credit, it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means something happened in your life that you may or may not have been in control of. Now, people don't go around and say, I'm just not going to pay my bills on time. I want to have bad credit. That's not how it works. It's usually you lose your job, you get sick, you get in a car accident, you get divorced, the real estate market falls apart, and your $1 million house is now worth $180,000, stuff like that. And so we're there to come in and clean it up. It's not a life sentence. We go in and clean it up. So if you have bad credit, don't be discouraged. Reach out to us. We're going to help you out and fix it. But to answer your question, in order to build your credit back up, you have to have new credit. The problem is nobody wants to issue you credit because you have bad credit. So it's kind of the chicken before the egg. Which one came first? I personally believe it was the chicken, because God created everything, and then the chicken laid the eggs. But whatever you believe is fine. So here's what we've done with credit cards. If you go to my website, rondilambeth.com, just like my name, rondilambeth.com, there's 5 banks that we've teamed up with that will give you a credit card regardless of your credit score. You need at least 3 credit cards. You have to have 3. These are not Visa debit cards. These are Visa cards, real credit cards through Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express. You have to have 3 credit cards on your credit report at all times in order to build and maintain good credit. Without a credit card, you're never going to have good credit, period. So if you're at a 571 right now, how many credit cards do you have open right now, Jose?
1. That's why I opened 1. My credit was like 495, and it went up to 571.
Yeah, get 2 more. Get 2 more, and you'll increase another 40, 50 points.
And I tried. So they sent it to me, and I went and applied, and they didn't.
Yeah, go to rondilambeth.com and apply.
I will.
They're going to give them to you. Yeah, they're going to give them to you. The only time they won't give you a credit card on my website, on the banks that I have, is if you're in an active bankruptcy, as in you filed bankruptcy yesterday and it hasn't discharged in that 30-day window yet. That's the only time they won't give it to you. So outside of you in an active bankruptcy, they'll give you the credit card no matter what. You send them $100 and now you got a credit card with $100 credit limit. FICO doesn't care what your credit limit is. FICO, which is the Fair Isaac company who creates the credit score, which over 90% of the world's banks use FICO. So all these other credit scores you see online, the trans risk, the Vantages that you see like on Credit Karma, Credit Check Total, Free Credit Report, those are not FICO models. Those are Vantage models or trans risk models. Banks really only care about FICO, so that's why I talk about FICO. It's kind of, think of it as in computers. 10 years ago, Microsoft was the king. I don't know if they still are anymore. I think Apple is growing.
Yeah.
But that's what you would consider, like that's the difference. Microsoft versus the Apple OS system. But you have to have credit cards. You need to maintain the credit cards. FICO doesn't care if they're secured credit cards or unsecured. It doesn't even come into the formula. All they care about is how many credit cards, which you need 3, and how much do you owe. They want to see you using the credit cards every single month. They want to see at least 1% every month on each card, and no more than 10. So if you get $100 credit limit, you got to spend at least $1 and no more than $10. If you go over $10, your credit score will drop by approximately 10% for every 10. Your credit score will drop by 10 points for every 10% that you spend. So you want to stay between the 1 and 10%. So if you keep it around 5%, you're in the magic area. And you do that across the board on all of your cards. You do that over time, your score will slowly increase every single month. Once you hit 2 years, your score will have a drastic increase. Once you hit 3 years, it'll go up and it'll continue to grow. And the reason why is 90% of all late payments, 9 out of 10, 90% of all late payments happen within the first 2 years of an account being open. So during that 2-year time frame, they're going to judge you very, very harshly. So if you have any hiccup at all, you're going to see a significant drop in your credit score. So if you're in that 2-year frame where you just got your credit cards and you go and you max out one of those credit cards, you're going to drop significantly. Whereas someone like me that's got a credit history of 20 plus years with no late payments because I've removed them all. And I left all the good stuff, right? So I got 20 years of good payment history. If I max out a credit card, FICO doesn't even care because I got 20 years of history of paying my bills on time. Now, the credit bureaus know that I had issues, but FICO doesn't because I removed it from the credit bureau's public information. It's still in their private servers. They know my payment history, but the public, as in FICO or other creditors, don't know what's out there. It's kind of like if you wreck your car, you get a little fender bender. The insurance company knows that you wrecked it if you filed a claim, but the DMV records, they don't know you wrecked it or replaced the bumper or the fender, right? I'm not saying you should lie to people, but if you have a Ford F-150 and replace the bumper, the guy buying the Ford F-150 doesn't care that you replace the bumper versus if you have a Ferrari and you replace the bumper, it's a big freaking deal to have an accident on an exotic car versus on a minivan. It doesn't really matter, right? Now, if you total the car, it's a completely different story. And the total in this story would be like filing bankruptcy. We delete bankruptcies every day. However, you still have to tell, if you file bankruptcy and you apply for credit, even if I delete it, you still have to tell them. It's like wrecking a car, you're getting a salvage title. You can't sell that car without disclosing that it was a salvage title, even though it looks perfect. So same thing with the credit. But to answer your question, I know that was a long-winded answer. To answer your question, the best way to start building credit is to get credit cards, manage the credit cards properly, keep the balance between 1 and 10%, preferably 5%, and just pay it over time. You don't have to maintain a balance like, pay interest. You can pay it off every month, but you have to use it every single month. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, that was the myth, the questions that the people got sometimes, even my brother and some of my cousins and family, they're like, they have so many credit cards and they're like, they don't max it out, but they tell me, man, I'm like right there, but should I use it? And they don't use it. That was the myth that other people would tell them, no, don't use it. Just keep on paying it, but don't use it until you finish paying it. Then don't use the card at all. So that's why.
That's bad advice. Here's why it's bad advice. if you have a credit card and you max it out, or if you're over 10, here's the thing. If you have a credit card and you are not paying it off in full every month, stop using the damn card. Plain and simple.
Plain and simple.
If you got a drinking problem, stop going to the bar, right? So if you have a credit card and you are not paying it off in full, stop using the card, period, and start paying it down, right? Regardless of your credit, you got to stop paying the 21 to 29% interest to the banks. You're making them rich and you're getting poor. If you are paying it off in full, don't go over 10%. I don't care what the real estate agents and the mortgage brokers and the banks have told you, 30 to 50%, they're wrong. I'm a FICO certified credit professional. Very few people on this planet can say they're a certified FICO credit professional. I'm telling you, FICO wants to see between 1 and 10% on your credit cards. If you go over 10%, your score is going to go down by 10 points every 10%. So if you max it out, if you're 90% utilized, which means on a $100 credit card, you owe $90, that's 90 points. So now instead of being a 671, you're a 571 because you owe $90. And FICO doesn't care if it's $90 or $90 million. It's the percentage on that credit card.
What is that when I remember I think it was last year, 2019, I was trying to trade my car or get another car, and then when they run that credit, and then your credit has all this, is that the banks when they showed up?
Oh, the inquiries, yeah. So the inquiries, those are the banks, potential creditors looking at your credit. What a creditor will see, so when they pull your credit, they will see when you applied for credit. So if you went to a car dealership and they sent your social security number, your application to 13 different banks, you'll have 13 inquiries. When you look at your own credit report, you might see 100 inquiries. The difference with that is your current creditors are pulling your credit every single month to see how you're doing financially. They're looking at your credit every month. If you have a credit card, they're going to pull your credit every month to see what you're doing with other credit cards. They're to see if you're potentially going to file bankruptcy, and they want to see if you are maxing out other credit cards and if you're using other credit cards, because if you are, they're going to then increase your credit line with them, send you a balance transfer check, and try to get you to move the money from ABC Bank over to CBS Bank, right? So that's one of the reasons they're pulling your credits. They want to see what you're doing because they want you to spend money with them versus their competitor.
Does that affect the credit though? Does it put it down when they put the inquiries?
Yeah, 90% of inquiries are completely ignored. This is something that inside my circle of credit professionals, we laugh about the inquiry thing because people are so focused on inquiries. And I don't know why. I really don't understand why, because 90% are completely ignored. FICO only looks at it for 6 months in the first place. And depending on the scorecard you're in, FICO ignores them completely. So if I go out and apply for a car and I get 15 inquiries, FICO doesn't care at all. My credit score will not change one bit. You go out with a lower than, you're on a high risk scorecard because of your credit history. You go out and apply for credit, you could see 100-point drop because you're in that window of they don't really know what's going on with you. You don't have 20 years of positive history because you haven't had me go clean it up for you yet. And so inquiries impact people in a different way, but 90% of them are completely ignored. After 6 months, they're just noise. All they are is noise.
So there's a difference between personal credit and then business credit?
There's a huge difference between personal credit and business credit. Personal credit is based on your social security number. Business credit is based on your EIN number or your employer identification number, which is your tax identification number, as in the social security number for your business. So a business is its own legal person. So my company, Fortress, is its own legal person. It was born in November 3rd, 2007. It has a 100-year lifespan. So if I don't reincorporate it in the next 100 years, it will die automatically at 100 years. And so it's its own legal person. It's got its own phone number. It's got its own address, its own website, its own email. It's got its own social security number known as an EIN number. It has its own credit report, its own loans, its own credit cards. It's completely separate than Rondi Lambeth. Fortress is its own person. I'm my own person. Therefore, it has its own credit file. I have my own credit file. So my Ferrari is under Fortress. I have a business loan. It doesn't show up on my personal credit. My airplane is under the business name. My credit cards are under the business name. My truck under the business name. None of it shows up on my personal credit. The advantage of that, Jose, is let's say Fortress goes out of business. I don't have to personally file bankruptcy. The business does its own thing. I do my own thing. If the business has late payments, it doesn't affect me personally. If the business maxes out its credit cards, it doesn't affect me personally. So it protects me personally from the business. The other thing it does is the average business credit card that's issued is $30,000 credit limit. $30,000. Whereas a personal credit, the average is $8,000.
Wow.
Now think about this. If we get 3 credit cards on the personal, 3 credit cards on the business. If I want to have good personal credit, of the $8,000, how much can I use every single month without damaging my personal credit? If I have an $8,000 credit limit, how much can I use? 10%.
10%.
I can only use $800. That's it. So if I have 3 of them, and that's a $24,000, it seems like a lot of money. I got $24,000. Most businesses can run off of $24,000 a month. Mine can. Most can. But how much can I spend without damaging my personal credit? $2,400. I can't run. I mean, my Facebook ads are more than $2,400 a day. So I can't run a business off of $2,400 without damaging my personal credit. Now let's switch over to business credit. If I have 3 credit cards and I have the average credit limit, which is $30,000, I got 3 of them, that's $90,000 that I can use. How much of that can I use without damaging my personal credit?
10% too?
All of it, because it doesn't show up on my personal credit. So I can use $90,000, 100% of it. So personal credit, I can use $2,400. Business credit, I can use $90,000. How much it, and you don't know this, so I'll just tell you. On business credit, the more you use your credit cards, the higher your score goes. So if I use 10%, I have a lower score. If I max those babies out, I get a higher score. So it's completely opposite than personal credit.
Wow.
They want to see you using your business credit. The more you use it, the higher your score goes. So now I can max out every single card all the time and I get rewarded for it. So now I have a $90,000 that I can use versus using personal credit at $2,400. So that's the advantage of business credit. And you can get, I can get a client right now, $50 million loan through business credit. This company's 3 years old. 5 years ago, he's working for Geek Squad. Started his own little company. 3 years into it, he's getting a $50 million loan now to expand his company nationwide. So that's the advantages of business credit. That's the difference of business credit.
Yeah, I was always confused. Like, man, is it the same or not? And I would ask for questions, but asking people that they don't know about, like you, an expert, I'm like, man, is it really advice? Is it not? Like, I really want to know if it's a difference or is the same. So that's great. I mean, is that how you do your expenses on their business when you put your car and all this, and that's how it's a different entity, so the taxes and everything is different in the business than in your personal?
Yeah. So I have 5 different businesses, and they all have their own credit files. They all have their own tax returns. And here's something if people ask me all the time. In fact, I did an interview yesterday, and the guy's like, well, my son's got a business. And I said, did your son file a tax return on the business? He'll no. And I said, then it's not a business, it's a hobby. And that's how the IRS looks at it. If you do not file a tax return for that business, It is not a business. It is a hobby. It is an abbreviation of you, an alter ego of you. It is not a business. It is a hobby. It's your alter ego, your nickname. You can't build business credit under nickname or alter ego. In order to build business credit, you have to have a real business with an EIN number that files a tax return. So yes, all of my expenses are under the business. My personal expenses are under the personal, and I never commingle the two of them ever, because that's how you get audited, and that's how you get in trouble with the IRS when you get audited. So you always want to keep everything separate.
That's good, because I know that right now most of the people that ask me questions and they're asking questions, they're like, man, it's hard to get a house. I mean, it's hard to get everything because, like, credit is king. And everywhere you go, they'll run your credit. So some people, even my parents, they're like, well, I'll talk to them, but they kind of want to give up, and like, oh man, we're never going to have a house, or we're never going to have this, or friends, and we're never going to do this. I'm like, no, man, never give up. There's always a way out, but you have to find that expert that actually can help you.
Hey, look, getting a house is not hard. Getting a car loan is not hard. Getting an airplane loan is not hard. Getting a $50 million loan for a 3-year-old business is not hard. If you know what you're doing, if you have the right people on your team, they're the ones doing all the work. If you have bad credit, you're not going to get a car loan. You're not going to get a house loan. Or you can, but you're going to pay a lot more than someone who has good credit. So it's your responsibility to make sure you have the best credit score out there. It's not anyone else's responsibility. It's your responsibility to pay less taxes than what you're legally required to pay. Or rather, yes, I think I said that right. It's your responsibility to pay the legal amount of taxes, not above that. And most people pay more than their fair share. Most people pay more than they're legally required to pay because, quite frankly, they're lazy. And when you're lazy, you pay more. When you're lazy, you have bad credit, you pay too much in taxes, you're overweight, you're unhappy, you got a shitty marriage, you're a shitty parent, and life just sucks.
And life just sucks, yeah.
So don't be lazy.
No.
Start with fixing your finances. Start with fixing your credit and do a little bit at a time. I did a show, a little live broadcast a few days ago. If you want to go on Facebook and watch it, it was Never Give Up. And one of my friends is Marcus Luttrell. And Marcus Luttrell was the Navy SEAL that they portrayed in Lone Survivor. So he's the only survivor of that fiasco that happened in Afghanistan. And so I just did a little story with how I met Marcus and that kind of thing. But you never give up. You never, ever give up, regardless of the situation, because you don't know what's about to turn the corner. I went, it was about 2 months ago, I did a little coaching session with a young lady, and she was struggling. She had just lost $20 million. She had no money. She was struggling with paying her car. She was struggling with everything, and life was just crumbling around her, right? Fast forward, she just signed a contract. She's gonna make $180 million. 2 months. That was it. 2 months. If she would have quit, that $100 million would have gone. $180 million would go out the window. I mean, it's a big deal. Look at Zappos. He was on the verge of bankruptcy, cashed everything out, threw in his last chips, threw a Hail Mary, and it worked. So you never quit, you never surrender, you just keep going, and you never know what's going to happen. You just keep pushing, right?
Yeah, and whoever you hang around with, that matters too. I know that because I mean, look at me. I lost most of my circle is gone. It's just maybe like 3. That's it, because everybody else wants to do the same thing. But I'm happy because I want this Pat. I don't want that Pat. I'm like, no.
I got a text message this morning from a friend that's doing 75 hard, and one of their friends basically said, "We're done. This is a lifetime friend. We're done being friends because I don't like the person you're pretending to be." The person that they're pretending to be just lost like 60 pounds, is exercising every day, is doing personal development, was posting positive things on Instagram. And that's what the text was about, was this person got mad because my friend posted a positive meme on Instagram and not the traditional "my life sucks" meme. She got offended, and so they're no longer friends. So guess what? When you climb out of the cesspool and you climb out of the sewer and you leave all your friends down there rolling around in the shit, they get pissed off and they try to pull you back into the sewer. And guess what? You just have to get new friends.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to get new family. People always say you can't choose your family. That's bullshit. You can choose your family. You can't choose your biological family. That doesn't mean you have to hang out with them. That doesn't mean you have to let them drag you down and make you feel bad. My mom is one of the most negative people on the planet. I can handle about 3 minutes in her environment. And after that, I'm done. And I'm extremely positive. I cannot handle being around it. It's like a black cloud just consumes us, right? And I've said this to my mom over and over again. It's not like I'm badmouthing my mom right now. I'm just telling you, I choose to not hang around with my mom. I love my mom. I support my mom. If my mom needs something, I'm there for her. I just choose not to be in her environment. If I see her, she comes to my environment. And we have a rule. There's no bitching. There's no negativity. When you walk through my front door, none of that's allowed. When you leave, you go do whatever you're going to do. But in my house, we don't do that. And so you have to choose who you're going to hang around with, because toxic people are toxic.
Mm-hmm. You don't want none of that, man. I left a lot of toxic people. Like my parents, like you said, you get to choose. There was a time, well, maybe like 2 years ago, when I sat them down at the table at their house and I said, let me tell you everything that it's changed from where you were born to where we at now, how technology changed, how everything changed, so y'all can be where we at now. Because they're still thinking about when they were, in their 1950s, when they grow up, you go work hard, 4 or 5 jobs. No, that business is not gonna work, man. Until now, I changed their mindset. Like my mom's mindset is like totally, like you were saying, I changed her. So now she's like, when I'm like out there, she's like, hey, Jesus, I thought you said you were gonna do this goal. I thought you were gonna go check that office or this. What's up? Are you gonna do it? I'm like, oh man, she's like on top. But before it will be the difference, Oh no, man, forget it. Go get another job, man. Change that job for what? $15, $30? That's what I tell people. You're not worth $30, $100 an hour. You worth more. You have your skill, your gift inside you. Go out there and use it. Who cares? Fail. Get up again until you realize who you're gonna be, that circle of friends or people that are gonna be there with you, and they're gonna share. They're gonna share with you. They're gonna probably say somebody to somebody out there, and then they're gonna contact you, be like, hey, you know what? I want to invest on you. Or you know what? Let me help you. But it takes that time. That people don't like that. They want it now.
Yep. They want it right now. And here's a fact. I have 50 employees. I cannot afford to pay my employees what they're worth. If I paid my employees what they're actually worth, I would go out of business. Every company's like that. You don't earn what you're worth unless you're outside of the pyramid scheme, which is corporate America. Pyramid scheme is not Amway. It's not WFG or Life Leadership. That's not a pyramid scheme. My company's a pyramid scheme at Fortress. General Motors is a pyramid scheme. McDonald's is a pyramid scheme. If you look at not the legal definition of pyramid scheme, but what I mean, what people think is a pyramid scheme, the guy at the top makes more money than the guy at the bottom. Look, that's true. Now, with that being said, most entrepreneurs make less than their employees. I have employees right now because of some stuff that happened last year in my business when my business partner quit. I went through divorce. I had some other issues. He left me with $1.2 million of credit card debt that I didn't know about. I'm digging myself out of a hole. But I have employees right now, their salary is more than my salary. A lot more than my salary. But can they make more money than me? If they outwork me, can they make more money? No, not really. Because once I get out of this hole, that $1.2 million that I'm paying this year on the credit cards will go into my pocket, right? So if you're in a corporate America job or any type of job where you're working for someone else, you're in a pyramid. You're working for them, and there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. And I tell people all the time, don't quit your day job. I counseled someone yesterday on this. He quit his $300,000 a year job to do something else. Now he's 3 years into it, and he's suffering. I'm like, dude, you should never freaking quit your job. You never quit your day job until your night job is producing 2 times over.
Yep.
So if you're making $100,000 a year at your day job, don't quit until you're making $200,000 through your business. You work 40 hours a week through your company, through your job, and 40 hours a week on your business. There's 80 hours a week. You can easily do 80 hours a week. If you cut out TV, you cut out bullshit, cut out hanging out with your toxic friends, cut out the bar, there's plenty of time in there to do it, to build your business. So got to hang out with good people. And there's nothing wrong with being a W-2 employee. Nothing. No. Sometimes I envy W-2 employees. I wish I could go home sometimes and not think about how I'm going to do payroll next month, and not think about the problem that some of the employees are causing and all the other stress and stuff that goes along with being a business owner. But it is my drug of choice. So I'm not going anywhere. And
it is right. It's like I tell people when I inspire other people, and I'm like, if you want to be an entrepreneur or business, you got to be ready to get hit. You got to get ready for a lot of things that's going to happen. But if you're happy where you at, if you're happy working at McDonald's or whatever you at, and you $40,000 a year, but your family, you're happy, man, I'm happy for you, man. Don't change. Yeah. Don't change because somebody else is trying to change you. Then somebody else is trying to make
some of my employees management positions, and they just tell me, look, I'm happy doing what I do. I don't want any more stress. I'm happy where I'm at. I'm happy with the amount of money because I pay my employees very well. I'm happy that I can just go home and I don't have to worry about any stress. I have fun at work. I don't want the extra responsibilities. And I'm cool with that versus them not being happy, right? So, but here's something I brought this up earlier, that the only thing worse than having bad credit is having bad credit, not having the money to fix it, or not having the time to fix it, or not having the knowledge to fix it. Over the last 13 years, I've helped hundreds of thousands of people fix their credit, get their finances right. And I've changed hundreds of thousands of people's lives, and I've made it better. And I made millions of dollars from it. I have a very good life, very happy. And a few months ago, I decided that I wanted to do a bigger change because I have this huge hole in my heart that I want to always make things better. And we turn away about 500 people a day that call us to apply with us to fix their credit. They don't think they can afford it. It's not that they can't, they just don't think they can. It's a mentality issue. Mm-hmm. So a few weeks ago, I launched a new program, and that's free credit repair. If you go to my website, rondilambeth.com, click on credit repair, you can sign up absolutely free. I promise you this. I can't promise that your credit score is going to be an 850. I can't promise that I can delete your bankruptcy, your charge-offs, your collections, because that would be illegal. Mm-hmm. What I can promise is you will never receive an invoice from Fortress Credit Pro. You will never be asked for money from Fortress Credit Pro if we fix your credit. You'll never receive a bill at all. So if you go to rondilambeth.com, click on free credit repair, sign up for the monitoring service. We will actually fix your credit absolutely free of charge, no strings attached. You don't have to buy a book or anything like that. It's not one of these bait and switch things. You sign up for monitoring service, give me your username and password, so I have access to your credit report, and we'll do the work for free. And then we'll teach you how to fix your credit, or how to increase your credit score through our education system through Fortress University, which is the shirt I have on here, which is my company. And we'll fix that stuff for free. So that's our new program, free credit repair, for you, for your family, for your fans, for your listeners, for the world. rondilambeth.com, free credit repair.
Oh yeah, I will definitely share that out, and I will definitely let everybody out. Now that I saw messages in here through the thing that asking about credit, that's good. So people that don't know, and people that they're still being fooled here and getting advice by people that they think they know that they're right. I'm like, no, man, that's why I wanted to bring you in. So man, he's an expert. He knows what he does. So this is what we need. We just can't go out there with somebody that don't know and then bad advice and you do it, then your credit goes bad again, and then like you said, you just think that it's over and you want to give up, and that's not it. You never want to give up.
Yeah. Hey man, Jose, it's been great being on the show. I got another show I got to do here in a little bit.
Gotcha.
And I got to do my 75 hard outdoor workout. Fortunately,
you in Las Vegas, right?
What's that?
Are you in Las Vegas, sir?
I will be in Las Vegas this afternoon. I'm in Boise, Idaho right now. That's where my home is in Boise. My office is in Vegas, so I commute between the places. I like the mountains and the outdoors, and so I moved here a year ago. But hey, if anybody on the show wants free credit repair, again, it's RondiLambeth.com. If every day on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, I'm very active on all the social media platforms except for Pinterest and Periscope. I don't do anything there. But if they need help with credit, money, taxes, business credit, entrepreneurship, coaching, anything like that, I'm everywhere at Rondi Lambeth. I'm super easy to find. You start typing my name into Google, you're going to find me.
Oh yeah.
I went into the dating world last year after getting divorced, and I use a fake profile name, and I had some people that some girls were offended by it. They're like, well, why would you lie about your name? I'm like, I'm not lying about my name. I'm simply using a different name because the moment you Google my name, you know who I am, and I'm trying to keep the gold diggers away. That's all it is. I'm trying to find someone who wants to hang out with me versus hang out with what I have.
With what you have. Yep.
The point to that is I'm really easy to find on social media and on Google. And I don't know of anything bad on there. I think you might have to dig quite a ways to find anything bad, but not saying there isn't. I think about 20 years ago, there was some stuff on there with my bankruptcy that might pop up if you dig 20 pages down. But anyway, it's been great being on the show. Let me know anytime. I'll come back.
Thank you. Oh yeah. Thank you very much. God bless you. And I'll let you know when to come back and coach more people and teach more people about it. Thank you very much, sir.
All right.
Woo, man. It was an amazing. You still there?
I am.
Let me see. There you go. I think you're gonna have to take it off. No, maybe. No. Sorry, we're trying to get to see how he gets off of there. I think he can. You hear me? There he goes. He got it. Hey, man. Amazing. If you miss this show, the episode today, the credit expert, Mr. Rondi Lambeth, I will share this later on. So if you watch this live today, press 1. Number 2, replay. I mean, we already went out for an hour and 3 minutes, and it was great information. He told us his story from the beginning to the end, so y'all could know his story, what he went through from when he was little all the way through now, when he went to as a firefighter, he lost his brother, to where he's at now, man. 20 years. It takes, you see how much time it took for him to build what he is now. So this was an amazing, a great information. So anybody that is watching the replay, anybody that is watching the replay, everybody that is watching the live, please share this out so people can actually learn from this. All right. So people can actually learn from what he knows. And if you need anything, please comment me below so I can send you to him and you find them. Let me see. Let me put it in here before I finish up. Find them in everywhere. What? Sorry, I'm still learning. There he goes. Show as Rondi Lambeth. Anywhere. Share this is going to see. There we go. Share this is going to be great information. And then right here. Follow him on his Facebook page and everywhere as Rondi Lambeth. All right. Any questions? Let me know. Any questions? You go through him and let him know, and we got this. Any help you need about knowing and any questions about your credit, please go find him on Rondi Lambeth on everywhere except for Periscope. He said he doesn't do a lot of Periscope, I think, but everywhere else, and Pinterest, no Pinterest, but everywhere else you can find him. He's easy to find. Any questions? Go ahead and ask him. And any questions you got from me, let me know. Hey man, this was an amazing show. I'm about to finish it up right here. Follow us on your concept media group. Any questions you got about concept media group, please. We do videography, photography, and editing. All right. Don't forget videography, photography, and editing is your concept. So that's our website, your concept media group. So go out there and check it out and go follow us in all your concept media group and Yeraldy Media. Go like and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and like and follow us on our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and what's it called? The other one, Instagram, Twitter. Missing one. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and our Facebook page, business pages. All right. It was an amazing show. Please don't miss it. Go watch it when you have time, when you get off from work, when you get off from your business, whatever it is that you're doing. Thank you once again, Mr. Rondi Lambeth. I would definitely have you back, and it was nice and having you here and knowing your story and helping me out with the questions that I had, helping you guys with any questions that you got. So this episode on the Push Power Show was brought to you by your host Jesus Ortiz and Yeraldy Media, your concept media group, and the Jesus Ortiz blog. And we just interviewed Mr. Rondi Lambeth. He's the credit expert, America's credit expert. Do not miss any other show. Hey, I'm talking to you. You ready to be in the show? Please comment below. Hit me up at 832-739-0420. Inbox me. Let me know. Let's get you here. I'm about to get in, finishing up some things to get my co-working office, and I'm gonna be bringing in the interviewers there and doing all my interviews through there. Everybody all around the world and the people that are living here in Houston, Texas. So I'm being blessed. A lot of things are coming, and more interviews. Like I said, right now I got somebody else coming in. I gotta set up the date. Nani Bernal. I gotta go talk to Jerome Maldonado, expert on real estate. Nani Bernal. She's doing amazing. So hey, you do not want to miss the show. You do not want to miss the episodes. So you go out there and watch the replays and also the audio on the podcast. So I mean putting that out there too. So don't forget to follow me on Anchor, Apple, Google, Alexa, you name it. I will post it. I will post and share it on my page and everything else. But thank you very much. I love you. Peace out. Right there. If you need any help, reach out to me at www.rondilambeth.com. And I'm done. Love you. Do not miss the next episode.